Hi everyone, this is Rolly01, and welcome to part 2 of What If Deku was Point Man from F.E.A.R. Last we were here, Deku and the rest of F.E.A.R team were just got through a firefight and they're gonna leave the armor camp facility. So we continue with that hours later chapter, Your Name. Hours later, after being evacuated by helicopter, the F.E.A.R team gave the reports and got checked up at the medical facilities on the base. Inko and Hisashi were talking about what happened. Inko, I don't think I could do this anymore, Hisashi. I want to quit. Hisashi, if that's how you feel, then I'm with you. Inko, are you sure? You always liked being in the army. Hisashi, it's fine. I'll just be an instructor. It's less action, but I'm still in the army. And who knows, maybe we could try having that family we wanted. Inko and Hisashi have tried having a family, but Inko couldn't manage to get pregnant. She always had difficulty. And the one time she did, she had a miscarriage, so they stopped trying. But with this, Inko was happy to hear that, and she hugged Hisashi. Then suddenly they heard a commotion. When they got there, a bunch of guards were all surrounding Izuku. Hisashi, what's going on here? Everyone stand down. The guards parted ways, letting Inko and Hisashi by. One of the guards responded, Sir, the child attacked one of the medical staff, and when they tried to take a blood sample. Hisashi and Inko saw the doctor on the ground, bleeding but alive. Hisashi, he might just be scared. He's been through a lot. Inko approached Izuku slowly, and as he was standing near the bed, with a needle in his hand like a weapon. Inko, it's okay. Calm down. We don't want to hurt you. Can you please give me the needle? Inko gave a warm-hearted smile to Izuku. He calmed down a little and gave Inko the needle. Hisashi orders the rest of the people to leave the room that they had it handled. Izuku sat next to Izuku on the bed as they tried to ask his name, but Izuku didn't speak, so she had him write it down, and he wrote Prototype 1. Inko, that's not a name. Try to think, surely your mother gave you a name. Upon hearing the word mother, Izuku's head suddenly began to hurt. He grabbed his head and tried to deal with the pain. He began to see visions of places and people he'd never seen before, and some things that would even give him nightmares. But then he heard someone call him by a name that he'd never heard of. Inko held on to Izuku, wanting to comfort him through the pain. Izuku slowly started to calm down, then he looked up at Inko, and then telepathically he told her, Izuku. She was shocked that she just heard a voice in her head. Inko, did you just say that? Hisashi was confused. He didn't say anything. Inko then looks at Hisashi, then back at Izuku. Inko, so your name is Izuku? Izuku nodded. Inko smiled. That's a good name. She patted him on the head. Hisashi was confused and asked for an explanation. Inko explained that Izuku might have a telepath quirk, and that's how he told her his name. Hisashi thought about this. He might have two quirks. Remember, he moved faster than the average human when he saved you. Inko agreed. Who knows what Armor Can did to him, not to mention the other one. I wish we could have saved him. Hisashi put his hands on her shoulder. There was nothing we could have done. The roof caved in. Inko knows that, but she still feels regret for not saving him. Inko took care of Izuku during his stay at F.E.A.R HQ. Inko watched over Izuku, giving him medical examinations. First thing she noticed was all the scars over Izuku's body, which ranged from cuts, bullet holes, burn marks, and etc. Izuku's x-rays showed that all the bones in his body had been broken multiple times and put back together. How could they do this to a child, she said. Next, she had Izuku get an MRI. The machine showed Izuku's brain was completely lit up. Normally, seeing this in a person would mean that they're experiencing seizures. But for Izuku, he was just using 100% of his brain. So there's a lot of brain activity. Last was his quirk test. And Inko was surprised to find out that Izuku did not possess a quirk. And he she couldn't come up with the answer of Izuku's abilities. At the end of the day, Inko let Izuku sleep in a room provided he was under surveillance. Later in the night, the guards posted outside heard a commotion. Entering, they saw Izuku tossing and turning and he was screaming. The guards alerted Hisashi and Inko, and Inko got to the room to try to wake up Izuku. His eyes opened up and he was crying. Inko just hugged him till he calmed down, and Inko stayed with him until he fell back to sleep. Chapter 4 Training Day. During his stay at HQ, Izuku was escorted around by Inko and Sashi and learned many things on how F.E.A.R operated, the headquarters, its member, and one day they passed through the shooting range where Spencer Douglas and Rhodey were having a target practice. And Izuku wanted to see Rowdy. Hey Cap, how's it going? Hisashi. Fine, we're just showing Izuku around. Wanted to see what was going on in the shooting range. Spencer just finished his practice run celebrating beating his previous record. His new record is 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Douglas. Not bad. You beat your last time by 10 seconds. Izuku tugged at Inko and wanted to try. Inko. I don't think so. Izuku, it's too dangerous. These are real guns. You could get hurt. Spencer. I say we let the kid try. Remember how he handled himself in armor camp. Kid's not a bad shot. Douglas. I agree with Inko. This is too dangerous for a child. Izuku was upset because he wanted to try, and then Hisashi chimed in. Let's have Izuku try. Inko was furious at Hisashi for mentioning that. What are you thinking? If he gets hurt, so help me. Hisashi tried to calm Inko down. Hisashi explained. The higher-ups want to know what Izuku can do, but they want to use more forceful methods. But this way, we can see what Izuku is capable of, and he's under our supervision. Inko didn't like that, but she reluctantly agreed. Izuku was given a pistol, a standard army pistol, capacity of 10, and 2 extra magazine in case he needed it. The shooting practice was simple. There are 12 flying targets moving around the range at fast speed. All you had to do is destroy all targets the fastest and in the fastest time possible. The current record was Spencer 4 minutes and 12 seconds. As soon as the buzzer rang, Izuku used his slow-mo ability, aimed and fired at his first target. Then he shot another, until he was empty. Izuku reloaded it in single fluid motion and then destroyed the rest of the targets. When the last target was destroyed, the timer read 20 seconds. Everyone was shocked how quickly Izuku did that, and he didn't waste a single bullet. Spencer, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You guys all saw that, right? Everyone nodded. Rowdy, wow, this kid's a badass. Douglas, amazing. And that's just him as a kid. Imagine when he gets older, how much better he will be. Inko and Sashi stood there with proud looks on their faces. I agree. The boy is truly impressive. Then they turned around to see an older man with a metallic arm. Tom Zero, rank Major. Commander of F.E.A.R, quirk, Intimidation. Hisashi, officer on deck. Everyone stood at attention. Tom, at ease. Everyone relaxed as Tom approached Izuku. He was hiding behind Inko. Tom smiled. It seems he's grown attached to you, Inko. Take good care of him. This kid's special. Inko just smiled. He looked at Izuku and then patted his head. Tom then turned to Hisashi. Good work, Hisashi. We got to see what the kid's capable of, and we didn't have to resort to drastic measures. Let's continue to have the kid go through F.E.A.R recruitment training and see what else he can do. Hisashi, are you sure about this, Major? We have one of the toughest training requirements in the country. Tom, yes, it's better this way than have the government take him to a secret site and we never see him again. At least here we can keep him safe. With everyone in agreement, Izuku went through the training and surpassed all expectation. Tom, the boy's results are beyond human. Even people with quirks would have a hard time doing what he can do. He beat all our previous scores, and we have learned a lot from having Inko examine him. They discovered the full extent of Izuku's abilities, his enhanced reflexes, his slow-mo ability when he's fully concentrating, his enhanced strength, healing factor, and then his telepathic abilities. Then Tom, and he's only going to get stronger as he grows up. Armacan really did make a terrifying weapon. Hisashi spoke up. Sir, Inko and I are resigning from the team, and we're going to take Izuku in. Tom was not surprised by this. He saw how Izuku clung to Inko. It was hard to separate the two. Tom, I wish I could have changed your mind. You're one of the best soldiers I ever had, but it's your choice. Hisashi salutes. It's been an honor, sir. Tom returns salute. The honor was mine. Next chapter, custody battle. While Izuku was being tested, the government was conducting an investigation into the Armacam incident. They tried to recover as much as they could from the facility, but most of the data was either erased or corrupted, and all witnesses either dead or missing. Armacam Corporation denied having any knowledge of this experiment and paid a lot of money to make it go away. When it came to what would happen to Izuku, they didn't really have a clue. Technically, Izuku was part of my Armacam experiment. He had no family, no relatives, and it was like he didn't even exist. The government had a meeting to discuss what would happen to Izuku. In the boardroom, Izuku was holding hands with Inko and Sashi as they stood there waiting for the verdict. They went over the data on Izuku during his F.E.A.R training, and they were amazed at what he could do. They were curious as how his abilities weren't a quirk, but that didn't really change their minds. The government wanted to raise Izuku to be an agent, but Inko was against it. He's just a child, and you want to make him into a weapon? How's that any different from what Armacam has done? The government officials responded. It's not like that, Second Lieutenant. We just want to raise the boys to help the country. Hisashi, so the best way the boy to help the country is to be a killer? The officials protested. We're not going to do that, Captain. We just want to raise the boy to be the hero. And then Hisashi responded, don't you mean raise him to be an assassin? That's outrageous. Captain, you're out of line. Hisashi, this kid is innocent. And we're not going to stand by as we become the killer for Armacam or the government. We will take in custody of him, and that's final. The government officials were outraged. You cannot do that. You don't have the authority, no matter what your rank is. Guards, take the child away. Just as the guards were coming to get Izuku, the door slammed open. In came an old man in a military uniform and a small animal type of thing. Nezu. Sorry we're late, but the traffic was horrible. One of the officials answered. Nezu, what brings you here? We're discussing a very important matter. Nezu. Oh, I came to see this young man and see if he wanted to enroll in my school in the future. I'm sorry, Nezu, but that won't be possible. He is a ward of the state and will be in our care till he comes of age. An old man. Taking a long drag from his cigar. What do you mean you're going to take my grandson away? He isn't going with you. Everyone looked confused at what the old man said. I believe you're mistaken, sir. This boy has no relative, according to our records. The old man just laughed. I never said the boy was related to me by blood. He's my adopted grandson. Look at the paperwork. He brought up a file, which was adoption papers showing that Izuku was adopted by Hisashi and Inko. The government officials were flabbergasted. This is outrageous. Who are you? How did you falsify these documents? The old man again started laughing. Well, if you must know General Hideki Midoriya. He came to attention and gave a salute. The entire room was surprised to say the least. A retired war hero was the boy's grandfather. Inko was looking at Hisashi, who had an irritated look on his face. Nezu then continued. The documents are all legitimate, so this matter is settled. Or would you like to continue this ridiculous farce? The officials gave up and ended the meeting. They didn't want to get on Hideki or Nezu's bad side. Hideki and Nezu came up to see the new family. Inko, thank you for your help. Nezu waved her off. Think nothing of it. Hello, young man. My name is Nezu. I hope to see you at my school in the future. Izuku just hid behind Inko, scared of whatever this thing was. Nezu didn't mind. He understood that Izuku was nervous around new people, just like he was. Hideki then chimed in. Hello, Isashi. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Isashi just stood there silently, not saying a word. Hideki sighed. Well, I should have expected as much. He then turns to Izuku. Hello, young man. I'm your new grandpa. Izuku telepathically said hello. This surprised Hideki, and he smiled back at him. Then he looked back at Isashi. Well, I'll just be going. I'll come to visit from time to time, just to see how my grandson is doing. Hideki then walks away. Isashi. This doesn't make up for what you did. Hideki didn't turn around. I know, but I'm trying. End of chapter. Chapter New Home. Izuku, after the proceedings in the wardrobe, Izuku was taken home of the Midoriyas. It was a large mansion, very beautiful and spacious. They showed Izuku around his new home. First, they showed him his room, which was already prepared. There were military figures posted on the walls, also some hero figurines and hero posters. Izuku liked his new room. It was comfortable for him. Very colorful, unlike his cell with his plain white walls and the giant mirror. Izuku had dinner with his family, and then he was tucked to bed by Inko, and he fell asleep. In their room, Inko and Hisashi had a talk. I know you hate your father, but he did help us. Hisashi was irritated at the mention of his father. It doesn't matter that he helped us. It doesn't change what he did. Inko let the conversation end there. She knew how stubborn Hisashi could be. Later at night, Izuku had strange dreams. He was in a playground, it was all foggy. At the other side of it, he could see a girl and F.E.A.R. F.E.A.R. and the girl were holding hands, reaching out to him. Then suddenly, they all heard a scream. It didn't sound human. A monster appeared behind him. The monster's attention was on F.E.A.R. and Alma, and they were both very afraid. Then, it focused his attention on Izuku, and then pounced at him. Just before the monster reached Izuku, he woke up in a cold sweat, and surprised to see Inko and Hisashi were in his room. They heard him having the nightmare. Izuku hugged Inko, and Inko asked what was wrong. Izuku, did you have another nightmare? Izuku just nodded. Inko took Izuku to their room, and they all slept in the same room. Izuku didn't have another nightmare that night, but this was only the beginning. Izuku slowly got used to life in the Midoriya household. Hisashi became an instructor for the F.E.A.R crew, while Inko became a stay-at-home mom, taking care of Izuku and homeschooling him. She could have been a doctor at the HQ, but she wanted to watch over Izuku. Inko was surprised at how intelligent Izuku was. His education level was already at college level in all subjects. Not to mention how physically fit he was, and he seemed like he was a prodigy at almost anything he did. Spencer, Rowdy, and Douglas would come visit from times when not on missions, becoming sort of uncles to Izuku. Hideki would also visit from time to time to give Izuku gifts and to tell him old war stories. But every time he came, Hisashi was never there. He tried to avoid his father. Izuku telepathically asked his grandfather why they were like this. Hideki sighed, but answered, Well, that's a long story. You see, when your dad was about 7, he lost his mom to an illness. We both didn't cope well. I focused on my career and neglected him most of his life. He joined the army when he came of age because he couldn't be a hero with his quirk, but he wanted to make a difference in his own way. That's where he met Inko. They fell in love and later they got married. I came to the wedding, but he was not happy to see me. I did give him this house as a present. He outright refused it, saying he didn't want anything to do with me, but Inko convinced him otherwise. I tried over the years to get back in his life, but he hates me. But I don't mind. Not in the slightest. At least he acknowledges I exist. Izuku was saddened to hear that. Couldn't imagine how painful it was, and wondered if he could do something. The next day, the family was having dinner, and Izuku talked to his father telepathically, telling him to try to reconcile with his dad. Hisashi, I won't. I will hate that man till the day I die. He wasn't the only one who lost mom. I was hurt. I was grieving. I needed someone to tell me it was going to be okay. Hisashi was clenching his fist during the whole time he said that. Izuku just had enough. At least you have a father to reconcile with. I have no one. Not even my friend. Prototype 2, he's gone. Hisashi then realized how foolish he was acting. There was his son that would do anything to meet his family, and here he was, ignoring the only family he had left. The next day, Hisashi and Deku had a heartfelt talk and finally reconciled. Oof. And that's the end of this part, people. Thank you for supporting me. I'm still a little mourning from, if you saw the last video, you know what I mean. It's been a tough year, not gonna lie. Almost thought of just giving up on this, but you get me. I had a dream, gonna follow through. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next part.